July 23rd, 2025. The Yukon air was thick with diesel and tension as Parker Schnabel and his crew pushed their luck further than ever. This season they were gambling everything on a single massive excavation, digging deeper than anyone had dared in the Klondike. The old-timers spoke of a false bedrock, but Parker believed the real gold lay beneath. Every day was a fight against permafrost and the threat of collapse, with the crew on edge and the financial stakes higher than ever. They were chasing a theory that ancient water channels had deposited legendary gold at impossible depths. The ground was frozen solid, forcing them to rip through with heavy machinery, progress painfully slow. The operation was immense. Towering excavators dwarfed by the raw landscape, cliffs of gravel looming over the site. Parker paced the edge, strategizing with his foreman Mitch Blaschke as they ventured into uncharted territory. Geological maps were useless. They relied on instinct and hope. This morning, they finally broke through a stubborn layer, reaching a dark silt-like material at 150 feet deep. The hum of machinery filled the air as Parker watched, every bucket load holding the promise of disaster or discovery. In Yukon gold mining, the line between ruin and riches is razor thin, and today they were digging right on it. Trouble announced itself with a deep, resonant clunk from the excavator. Rick Ness radioed Parker. "I've hit something big, and it's not rock. Feels like wood." At this depth, wood made no sense. Parker and Mitch hurried down, boots sinking in the slurry. They found not a log, but a massive hand-hewn plank, too large and expertly joined for any mining relic. More planks emerged, laid side by side with precision, forming a colossal structure. The wood was a dense, dark hardwood, foreign to the Yukon. The crew gathered, staring in disbelief as the operation ground to a halt. The mood shifted from gold fever to confusion and awe. How could a man-made wooden structure be buried 150 feet deep in the Klondike? Theories evaporated. This was no old-timers' shaft. They weren't just miners anymore. They were standing on the edge of a mystery. The questions hung in the cold air, heavier than the tons of earth above. Their gold hunt had collided with something that defied all logic. The desire for gold was suddenly eclipsed by the need to know what they'd found. The crew shifted from mining to careful excavation, digging around the object with surgical precision. Over 2 painstaking days, a curving wall of wood emerged, massive, monolithic, unmistakably the hull of a ship. Ore replaced tension as the scale became clear. This was no riverboat, but an ocean-going vessel. The craftsmanship was extraordinary. Hand-forged iron bolts, enormous ribs and rope thick as a man's arm. The cold had preserved everything from planks to metal fittings. The ship's hull stretched on, disappearing into the frozen earth. They'd uncovered only a section, but it was enough to know they'd found the impossible. A ghost ship entombed in Yukon permafrost, hundreds of miles from any sea. The crew worked in reverent silence, feeling as if they'd stumbled into a tomb. The question was no longer, where's the gold? But how did this ship get here? The Yukon's history had no room for a vessel like this. Parker realized this mystery was bigger than any gold he could ever find. On the third day, a crew member's shout drew everyone to a strange cylindrical shape jutting from the hull. As mud washed away, a cannon emerged, still pointing from its gun port, ready for a final volley. Shock rippled through the crew. This was no cargo ship, but an armed vessel. Mitch recognized the design, a deck gun from centuries past. The nearest ocean was over 500 miles away. The idea of a warship here was preposterous. The discovery shattered every historical map and narrative. Silence fell as the implications sank in. This was a world-changing find, not just for miners, but for historians everywhere. The gold hunt seemed trivial now. The real treasure was the ship and the story it was about to tell. They had found a time capsule from a lost world. Parker called in the experts. Within 48 hours, a helicopter brought Dr. Arian Larco, a renowned maritime archaeologist. Dr. Larco's disbelief was palpable as he examined the hull and cannon. His team worked quickly, sampling wood, measuring the cannon, analyzing iron fittings. The breakthrough came when Larco found the Habsburg crest of King Philip II of Spain etched into the cannon. The wood was Iberian oak and Mediterranean pine, species foreign to North America. Construction techniques matched those of Spanish shipyards from the late 1500s. After 2 days, Dr. Larco gathered the crew. "You've found a Spanish galleon. a treasure ship of the Flota de Indias, dating from around 1580 to 1600. The verdict stunned everyone. A Spanish treasure ship lost for over 400 years, buried in the Yukon. No record existed of such a ship vanishing in the Pacific, let alone this far north. The discovery was unprecedented, the most important archaeological find of the century. The world was about to be turned upside down. Parker's gamble had unearthed a legend. With confirmation from Dr. Larco, the mission became an archaeological recovery. The crew carefully opened a damaged section of the hull, revealing a dark, ancient cargo hold. The air was stale, tinged with the metallic scent of treasure. Parker and Dr. Larco entered first, their lights illuminating crates, and spilled across the floor. Thousands of gold and silver coins. It was the legendary treasure of the Spanish Main, hidden for centuries beneath Yukon soil. Deeper inside, they found chests of pre-Columbian artifacts, Incan gold masks, Aztec jade statues, and rare textiles. The galleon carried not just currency, but the plundered heritage of empires. Silver ingots, navigational tools, and personal effects of the crew painted a vivid picture of the past. Each item was a tangible link to the people who sailed this doomed voyage. The wealth was staggering, but the historical value was priceless. They had found a perfectly preserved slice of the 16th century. The secrets of the Corazon de Oro were only beginning to unfold. The Yukon's greatest treasure was history itself. The most profound find was in the captain's quarters, a leather-bound chest sealed with wax. Inside, a vellum-bound logbook embossed with the Habsburg crest. The team set up a makeshift lab, and Dr. Larco began translating the faded 16th century Spanish script. The ship's name emerged, Corazon de Oro, captained by Mateo de la Vega. Early entries described a routine departure from the Philippines, part of the Manila galleon trade. Then disaster struck. A typhoon off California, blowing them far north into uncharted waters. The crew, lost and desperate, faced sickness, cold, and dwindling supplies. The captain wrote of strange coastlines, towering mountains, and the shimmering aurora borealis. The logbook was more than a record. It was a testament to survival at the edge of the known world. The most incredible part of the story was yet to come. The final logbook entries would rewrite history. Captain de la Vega described a cataclysm, a mega-thrust earthquake, and a permanent flood that created a vast inland sea. The Corazon de Oro, still afloat, was carried deep into the continent on this new sea. The captain wrote of sailing over submerged forests and mountain peaks, calling it the Mar Interior, the inland sea. This event, unknown to modern science, created a temporary passage from the Pacific into the Yukon. The crew tried to escape, but the water receded, stranding the ship in a valley of mud. The final entry, a prayer for mercy as they prepared to abandon ship. The galleon hadn't crossed mountains. The mountains had sunk beneath it. The logbook confirmed local flood legends and revealed a lost chapter of Earth's history. The ship was a witness to a cataclysmic reshaping of the continent. The world's understanding of the past would never be the same. The Corazon de Oro's discovery sent shockwaves worldwide. It challenged everything we knew about North American history and geology. News coverage was non-stop. Geologists and historians scrambled to re-examine the past. The find explained ancient flood myths and hinted at other lost ships beneath the soil. For Parker and his crew, the quest for gold became a quest for knowledge. The site was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and international teams began preservation. Parker's gamble had paid off in unimaginable ways. The story proved that history is alive, waiting to be rewritten. A Spanish galleon in the Yukon was more than a curiosity. It was a paradigm shift. The impossible had become possible, and the map of the past was forever changed. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary, hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.